Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 2832 Northeast Cole Avenue here in McMinnville. Located at the front of the house, I describe everything as if you're in the street, facing the front of the home. So right now, we are just to the left of the front doorway. Got a 3-inch ABS clean out right in the patio. Can't lose track of it. These are my favorite kind of clean outs right here. Can't ever bury them 3 feet deep. Anyway, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We are zeroed out, and off we go. And just right out of the gate, superbly clean flow line. That is precisely how you want your sewer line to look right there. So kudos to the current homeowners. This is a home that is going out of their way not to put their bacon grease down the sink. I am a big stickler on that. After all the drain cleaning and about 25,000 sewer scopes that I've done at this point in my career, grease buildup is a very common contributing factor in scenarios with blockages that result in full-on backups. Blockages happen relatively frequently. A lot of times you don't even realize it happened, especially when you got kiddos that are kind of balling their toilet paper up. They'll block and then break loose after a few feet of pipe fills up behind them. When your pipe walls get all greased up, those same blockages that are often temporary under good conditions, those blockages they essentially get glued to the pipe wall. That's what the grease buildup does. It causes them to adhere, and they can withstand more and more head pressure building up behind them before it's enough to break things loose. So it's more likely that your more run-of-the-mill stuff can result in a full-on sewer event. So it's a very good living habit to have in place. So we just went through a little bit of a belly there. We're going to take a look at that on the way out when the line is fully drained. We're transitioning here to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. We'll see how it looks after it's drained. I've got a bathtub running right now, putting a fair amount of water down the line. That does exaggerate the look of the belly, so we'll take a look at that once things are fully drained off. What I can tell you, thus far, the line is so clean, I could even recommend you drain clean it. Even spend $5 drain cleaning it. So that is one of the things I look at as it relates to whether a belly looks like it is at a point where it needs some level of attention. But just kind of as a preface to that, where I just start to consider repairs on bellies, and that's considerate, is once there's a 5-foot section of pipe with at least 1 inch of water in it. Sorry for the back and forth here. I'm trying to get a cob off my camera lens. Just gunked my lens up. Anyway, 5-foot section of pipe with at least 1 inch of water, static with no water running at all. So, in most cases, a belly like that, I will not recommend a repair on them. Generally speaking, a belly of that size, I'm usually not recommending a fix on unless it's very, very close proximity to the home and or underneath it. And especially so when you get a coupling effect of standing water and old pipe materials, like concrete and cast iron. You have rough pipe walls. You get a combination of standing water slowing things down and rough pipe walls that snag that slow-moving debris after it's lost velocity and has a harder time plowing through some of those rougher conditions. That's not a combination I like a whole lot. In smooth plastic pipe, that is done a great deal to mitigate a lot of blockage problems just because the pipe walls are so smooth. Debris breaks loose relatively easily. Assuming it's proper debris, toilet paper, human waste, stuff like that. I'm not referring to wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, grease buildup. Those are all improper items. Even balled up toilet paper, technically speaking, is improper. A lot of kids do it, even adults do it, but you're supposed to fold toilet paper. So anyway, I consider all those things when we recommend a repair. Anyway, we're gonna go locate really quick here. It looks like we're tying right into the manhole out in the street. I'm gonna do a toilet flush here. I'm hoping that'll clear this dang cobweb off the camera lens that's stuck to it right now. Alrighty, well, my toilet flush technique did not work, unfortunately. Anyway, right in front of the driveway, I mean, it sits just a couple feet out from the driveway. You'll see a manhole. Line ties directly into that manhole there. So the line gets, you know, approximately all said and done by the time the line straightens out to shoot into the road. It gets about 2/3 the way across the driveway. Anyway, sorry about the cobweb there. I've seen the line well enough at this point. There's nothing, the cobweb's blocking from my view at this point. It's just a little annoying that it's there. When we go through the standing water, we'll still be able to see the depth of it. I did just notice, we'll see if speculation's correct, there is a newer patch of concrete in the sidewalk. Let's see if it's related to that spot or not. Although I think we've already pulled back through that area at this point. Alright, so the belly here dissipates off at about 54 feet. Okay, and I am getting, there's a few terms for it. I call it kind of a vacuum break. There's a particular noise that is made when you go through a belly that is fully submerged. You get a blip 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 sound because air is not moving through that area there. The water lines hit the top of the pipe. So anyway, this belly here, just because of the depth of the water, the fact that it's on a turn like it is, that and due to the length of it, is one I'm going to recommend a fix on. You know, as it relates to bellies still, even in one like this, you know, it's one thing when there's an inch of water, when the water line's hitting the top of the pipe. These are ones I get a little more nervous about because you just don't have, you know, any airspace overhead there for stuff to kind of, it just helps things move along. When you're at an inch of water or so like that, it's just less resistance, and you've got 3 inches that's hitting the top of the sewer line here. So I'm going to locate really quick and see where we're at. Alright, and it is unfortunately underneath the driveway. About 3 foot, my locate's very consistently coming in there at between 3'9", 3'10" deep. So it looks like the belly dissipates off right as this thing turns. It may persist all the way up to the transition. It tapers off to a minor level, but when it comes to fixing bellies, you got to fix all of it, even if the last little bit's at a 32nd of an inch. All right, and here, funny enough, I'm getting the ground level doesn't feel like it's changing a whole lot, but if repairs get done here, I recommend relocating. I'm getting about 3'6" at the end of the belly, funny enough. All right, I cleaned the camera lens up there while the thing was paused. So anyway, just because it's under a driveway, whoever, you know, repair company comes out to do any digging on this, they're going to want to relocate it to get the exact route. You'll see 2 green dots on the driveway. That's where the belly starts and where it stops. In between there are a couple turns. I don't want to go paint the heck out of the driveway. It spans multiple squares of concrete, unfortunately. So I just didn't, in the event that for some reason this doesn't get repaired, I just didn't want to have a ton of paint sitting on the driveway. So my marking goes to the transition. The belly dissipates off. Actually, it looks like just prior to the transition. Most repair guys are usually overshoot belly repairs by a little bit, though, to ensure they get grade. So just be aware of that. You can see the turns we're snaking through here. The dots on the driveway don't necessarily show the turns. Part of that is I can't barely even see them. So anyway, just be aware of that. It's not necessarily a dead straight run between those 2 points. There are some turns between it. So anyway, and you can see how debris is hitting the top of the pipe here. My understanding is it's a fairly low occupancy household, you know, where a belly like this may not necessarily be an issue for one little lady living in the home, for instance, that very low volume going down the line. You know, you get a couple adults and a few kids in, in the mix, and it can be a much different story because of the amount of stuff going down the line. All right, just want to double check that. So my foot counter reset a little bit there while I had the monitor paused. The belly there runs from 45 feet to 54 feet, so it's just barely shy of 10 feet in length. Fully submerged. You got 3 inches of standing water in that location. You do have some debris hitting the top of the pipe there. That's not necessarily an indication the line is backed up, but it has certainly got to the point where it's filled up. Probably a temporary blockage allowed for that to happen. So it just depends on a few factors. But I scope these things assuming that it's going to be sold at some point to a larger household, or a belly like that becomes a more meaningful issue to deal with. Right here, you have like the world's tiniest belly. We also have a little bit of water going to the line right now. Looks like the dishwasher might be discharging or something like that. That's like a 32nd of an inch with water still going through the line. So that is so minor, it's not even going in my report. When the line's drained out there, you will essentially see nothing. But I am going to recommend a fix there from 45 to 54 feet. It's a large enough belly. It is one that's concerning. Again, one person in the household treating the line nicely, even 2 adults. It's when you start getting that higher volume in there, kids and stuff like that, where that belly becomes more concerning. And again, we have water running into the face of the camera right now. Water just turned on. That's not standing water there. We're going back into the crawl space, and at this point here, oh, that's where the sink drain ties in. That's actually as far as I can go. My camera will route straight up the kitchen sink drain, or actually whatever sink drain that is. That water is... That's the kitchen sink drain we're looking at. You can see the grease deposits on it. Actually, still quite a clean sewer line. This is, I mean, these people have treated this thing nicely. So anyway, most of the piping we just looked at going backwards there is all exposed piping. It's stuff you can look at with your eyeballs. I'm mostly interested in seeing the line as it goes to the foundation while checking for settling problems. So anyway, looking good going back through there. So anyway, after any repairs are done, make sure a rescope is performed. It's very important to do that. And the ideal way of doing this so you don't have any mishaps is you want to repair the line, bury it, compact it, get it ready for concrete pouring, but don't pour concrete until the line is scoped. You got to check for settling problems. And anytime you're spot repairing a belly, especially if you don't have someone out here who really knows what they're doing when they're fixing a belly, you can have them belly back out again. So you want to make sure that everything looks good. You want to put a load on top of the line, bury it, and then check it for issues. For instance, that belly right there, had you scoped the line while the trench was still open, back when this was first being installed, line probably looked perfect. It's not until you put weight on top of the sewer line where you're going to see if your compaction was good and if it's going to settle again on you. So very important to do that so you don't have to go ripping up. And when this one spans, I think, in total, it spans 3 different squares of concrete. So I don't want to see anyone having to redo concrete work like that. Otherwise, the rest of the line here, all of it is in good condition, has good flow. Overall, though, the line is, it's got a significant belly in it, and that is a spot there I'm concerned about blockages occurring. So if for some reason repairs are not done, you could justify cleaning to an extent. There, you do have some level of grease deposits there at that belly. The rest of the line's very clean. But you want to make sure you're treating the line as nice as possible. Treat it like a septic system. Toilet paper only. No grease. Cooking oil. Wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes. Stuff like that. You want anything going down this line to be easy to disintegrate and move on its way as readily as possible. And then I always recommend re-scoping the line about the 1 year mark. This line's clean enough right now. Again, you could clean it just to get a little better view of it in a year. But at a year, you'll be able to get a baseline for how well the line's handling your living habits. You know, every household lives different from one another. Some houses do a lot of deep fat frying. Some homes do not. And they all have different levels of usage on them. So it's at least worth taking a look at that to see if you need to change any living habits up to help mitigate blockages and or as it relates to doing maintenance cleanings from time to time to keep buildup down. Ideally, though, I'd like to see it repaired so you don't have to mess with any of that stuff. That's just under some circumstance where it does not get corrected. Anyway, and to reiterate again, the line needs relocating before doing any digging. The dots out there are merely where the belly starts and stops. Those markings there are not showing the turns and things that happen in and amongst that bellied area. That's just start and stop so that repair guy can see kind of their general idea of what's going on there. You're between about 3 foot 6 inches deep and about 4 foot 1 inches deep at its deepest point. So quite a shallow line as it sits.